The SS have a reputation of being Hitler's most loyal and fierce Nazi organisation. They were initially established as Hitler's personal bodyguard unit. Later on they would become the elite force of the Nazi Reich and would carry out all the security-related business without a regard for anything. They are remembered in history for being the perpetrators of history's worst crime, the Holocaust. Today we look briefly at the infamous SS. The SS, or Schutzstaffel, was staffed by those men who perceived themselves to be racially elite, or of the Nazi ideal. Hitler longed for the creation of an Aryan race, a race which was made up of pure Germans and who would go on to secure the future of the Third Reich for centuries to come. In 1925, Hitler established the SS, however at the time they were under the rule of the Chief of Staff, or the SA. The SA was known as Hitler's Brownshirts or Stormtroopers. They were instrumental to the rise of the Nazi Party. They operated outside the law and used violent methods of intimidation to strike fear amongst Germany's left population and the Jews living in Germany. It was independent from the army and it was led by Ernst Röhm. The SA took inspiration from Mussolini's Blackshirts and they acted as a security force at rallies and helped perpetuate Hitler's political ideas. The SA was hugely instrumental after the Beer Hall Putsch, and they took part in violent clashes against communists throughout the 1920s and 30s. Also at this time their numbers grew massively. The SA ultimately became too powerful for Adolf Hitler's liking. To secure a cleaner ascension to the role of Führer, he could not be associated with the bloody acts of thuggery that the SA were known for. On June 30th, 1934, the Night of the Long Knives occurred, in which there was a bloody purge within the SA ranks, in which all senior Brownshirts were either arrested or executed, with leader Ernst Röhm being executed too. It was the SS who carried out these acts on the orders of Adolf Hitler. From 1929, the SS was headed by the infamous Heinrich Himmler. Himmler had a reputation of being a racist fanatic, who became obsessed with the occult. He built the SS up from less than 300 members to more than 50,000 by the time the Nazis came to power in 1933. Himmler screened all of the applicants for their perfection physically and also for their racial purity. However, he did recruit from all classes of German society. He kitted the SS out with sleek black uniforms and gave them special insignia and symbols linked to the occult, for example a lightning strike with a runic SS. Also, he gave them Death's Head badges and silver daggers. The Death's Head would become a chilling symbol of the SS. Following the Night of the Long Knives, the SS became an independent group responsible to Hitler alone via Himmler. Together with Reinhard Heydrich, Himmler gained control of all of Germany's police forces, making the SS even more powerful. Throughout this time, special military units of SS soldiers were trained and equipped along with the regular German army. By 1939, the SS had around 250,000 men, divided into two groups, the Allgemeine SS, the General SS, and the Waffen-ss, the Armed SS. SS men were lectured and schooled on racial hatred and had developed immunity from human suffering. The greatest trait an SS man would be to have complete obedience and loyalty to Adolf Hitler. The SS was built on a culture of violence and brutality, which was exhibited in its most extreme form by the mass murder of civilians and prisoners of war. The Einsatzgruppen operated under the control of the SS. These were groups of paramilitary death squads that were responsible for mass killings. Two such examples of this was the Babi Yar Massacre, which killed over 33,000 Jews, and the Rumbula Massacre that killed an estimated 25,000 Jews. It is estimated that of the Jewish victims of the Holocaust, 40% of those were killed in the mass shootings by the Einsatzgruppen or the SS. These shootings were often local and public, with witnesses seeing the cruelty. The Germans would press these people into aiding the extermination by forcing them to dig their graves or to drive wagons. They would also confiscate property and loot their victims. The victims of the Einsatzgruppen were not just Jews, with gypsies and Soviet communists also perishing under their cruelty. In 1941, Himmler noticed the psychological effects that the shootings were having on his soldiers, so he requested a more convenient method of killing to be developed. This would become the gas van that would later develop into the gas chambers. By the spring of 1943, the Einsatzgruppen had killed over 1 million Soviet Jews and tens of thousands of Soviet commissars, partisans, gypsies and disabled people. Later the SS would be involved in the organisation of concentration camps and would become the guards in these camps, carrying out even more horror and evil. By 1944, it is estimated that membership numbers in the SS had risen to 800,000. After being captured in 1945, Himmler committed suicide via cyanide poisoning. Following the defeat of Nazi Germany, the SS was declared a criminal organisation by the Nuremberg Trials in 1946. Additional trials were conducted following Nuremberg, and many SS members attempted to escape justice by stating that they were merely following orders, of which the court did not find this a legitimate defence. A trial of 40 SS officers and guards from Auschwitz took place in November 1947, and most were found guilty, with 23 receiving the death penalty. It is estimated also that 37,000 members of the SS were tried and convicted in Soviet courts, with the sentences including hanging and long terms of hard labour. Some escaped and fled to South America, including the notorious Adolf Eichmann. Today the SS are known to have been one of the most evil organisations ever created. Initially beginning as a bodyguard unit, its place in history is remembered for its evil and callous killing, its violence and intimidation of civilians, and also the innocent. Thank you for watching The Untold Past. To support the channel, please subscribe. Thank you.